don't do it. Don't even think about it. Remove it from your wish list. Remove it from your cart right now. Hey guys, I'm Rashi Himalaya, and today I'll be reviewing for you as well as showing you 3 looks using the new Fenty palette. There's a lot to talk about, you guys. Show you this video as early as possible so that I can prevent you from making a bad financial decision. This is a pretty expensive palette. It's the first larger palette from Fenty. Now, I've never tried Fenty eyeshadows before. This is my first experience, and I can tell you this is terrible. It's nowhere near worth the money. I don't know what the brand was thinking when they released this. Okay. So these shades in the pan do actually look really beautiful, and I think that's where it ends for me. It just looks pretty, and it's just the shades, it's not the packaging, because the packaging itself is really substandard. I feel like it looks cheap, plastic. I'm not happy with the packaging. Even the sticker at the back, I feel like they've done such a sloppy job because the sticker is tilted and it should be in line with their square. Let me talk about the pros first, because there aren't many. The pros are that the mattes are not too bad, right? So especially these mid-tone shades, so these 2 mattes, these can look a little bit chalky on me just because I have brown skin. These mattes right here, so these 2 shades are actually pretty good. I've enjoyed using these 2. This is okay. It does give good pigment, but you really have to build it up quite a bit. Can be a bit patchy. This one is also a little bit hard to blend. Applies most definitely patchy. So although the mattes aren't too bad, they're not great mattes, and especially at this price tag, they're not the mattes that you would expect. The shimmer shades are truly disastrous. I'm feeling a little bit shocked at the moment because they're so bad that I expect a palette like this to cost like $3. I'm not even kidding you. I expect this to be $3. That's how bad quality the shimmers are. They aren't pigmented, and I'll put up the swatches right now. So these are the hand swatches that I did, and I took at least 3 swipes, and with some of the shades far more than 3 swipes, to get them to build up to that intensity that you're seeing on my hand right now. So in terms of pigmentation, it's really, really poor. The quality is poor. I mean, the shimmer shades apply a little bit unevenly. They can be a bit chalky. They don't blend with each other really well. And you'll see it when I do the looks, so you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But when I pop them on the eye, I have to really struggle with the shimmers. And I was not expecting that. I really was not expecting Fenty eyeshadows to be like this. I don't know what happened here. How this palette even got released, it's baffling, really baffling. Let me just save you some cash because I don't know what happened right here. So not only does this palette swatch terribly, it also applies terribly. With the shimmers, I really have to build them up quite a bit. I have to aggressively go in with my finger with some of these shimmer shades. And even then, with some of these shades, they don't really show up. For example, when I do this eye look, you'll be able to see that I went in this shade right here, which should be a really beautiful dark metallic shade, but it's terrible. I don't even know what to say anymore. It's so terrible. What is happening? I don't want you to buy this palette and then experience a disaster that I did and waste your money, especially because it's really expensive. This is not a cheap palette. Now, let's just jump into the look so you can see how these shades actually apply to my eye. I've done 3 looks with this palette. Let's have a look at that now, and then we'll circle back. So for the first look, I'm going to go into this mauve tone shade right here. I have already prepped my eyes with some concealer. I'm taking Natasha Denona brush in number 12 and just going to pick up a good amount of this shade. And just applying this shade all over the lid. I'm definitely having to dip in quite a few times to build up this color, but that is still okay because it applies nicely. And as long as you have a concealer over your eyes, I think you're going to get some decent payoff. Now I'm going to go in and just blend that out. So that is what that shade looks like. Now I'm going to go in with this shimmer shade right here just to show you what that looks like on me. And then I'll top that off with sort of that deeper pink shimmer. And that's what that looks like. Unfortunately, this pink is a little bit chalky, so it is not my favorite pink shimmer. Very chalky on my brown skin. You can see that. It's kind of ruined this eye look. But that's okay. I just wanted to show you what this shade looks like. I'm not a fan. Now I'm going to go in with this shade just on top of that. One of the things that really bugs me with this palette is that although this shade looks really beautiful, when you look at it, you think it's going to be such a stunning shimmery pink. When I dig my finger in there, I barely get any pigmentation. Like, I have swirled my finger in there aggressively, and that is all that I can get. And I'm gonna add that right on top. And you can kind of see it doesn't really do much. So I'm going back in and just trying to build up this pink as much as I can. The shimmer I find is also quite hard to blend. So what's happening right now is that when you stack up different shimmers and you mix the shimmers on the eye, they don't blend together nicely. They kind of go patchy and they sit on top of each other really, really funny. Like, this is a terrible shimmer formula. Oh my God. Now, before I finish off this eye with eyeliner, mascara, concealer, that type of thing, I'm going to do another look on this eye. This time, I'm going to go into this middle chord right here. And I'm going to start off with the light shade in my crease area, in the crease. And I'm doing that on purpose so I can show you that this shade does not show up. However, this is one of those shades that I can kind of apply all over the eye just to sort of set that concealer down. Next, I'm going to go into this matte shade right here, which does look beautiful. And I'm going to add that to the outer V. So that's sort of like a mid-tone intensity that I'm getting with this shade. And I'm going to build a little bit more each time. And I'm just going to blend this out into the crease. Now I'm going to go with this copper shade right here. And I'm just going to apply that in the inner part of the eye. Right here. Now this is a pretty shimmer. It's a little bit hard to blend. However, it does look pretty on the eye. It gives you kind of like that scattered effect. So I'm going to go back in and apply a little bit more. Yeah, I find what happens with this formula is that this shimmer specifically kind of grips and sits down on your eye but doesn't really move. So it's not really maneuverable, and sadly it's going hard pan as well. Picking up more product, applying it on the eye, the more I'm doing that, these shimmers are getting hard pan on me very, very quickly. So right in the middle, I'm going to pick up this shade right here. It is more of a metallic shade, and I'm going to apply that right in the middle. And take it up. Very weak pigmentation, right? And I've dipped my finger into this so many times to try and build up that pigment, and I am struggling. I have just added some concealer under my eyes, and I'm going to go back into this brown shade right here with the Natasha Denona brush, and I'm going to apply that at the lower lash line. I'm also going to take the same shade and add it to this eye as well. Now I'm gonna go back and pick up this sparkly shade right here, and I just want to add that all over my eye. So I'm gonna go in and just top that right on top, just to give the eye the overall sparkle. I think that looks pretty. I'm going to dip into the deepest shade, which is here, just with a teeny tiny brush, and just going to add that to the lower lash line. Hey guys, so this is the final look. So this is the pink one. And the bronzy tone right here. My preference is definitely the bronzy tone. For this next look, I have concealed my eyes, and I've also added powder on top of the concealer because that will just help this dark shade to blend a little bit better. So I'm going to start off with this shade right here, taking that Natasha Denona brush and just going to focus that. That's beautiful. So this shade definitely has some pigment. And I'm just going to focus this all over the lid. I can see that it's not blending well. So although it's pigmented, it's showing up, it is not blending as well as I thought. I'm gonna go with my blending brush and just give that a blend. I'm gonna try and build up pigment here. Now I'm going to go in with the darker shade right here with the same brush, add that to the edges. So this definitely has plenty of depth, as you can see. It's quite dark. Blending, of course, is going to be an issue. You can kind of see that it's applying patchy, although I have a ton of matte eyeshadow already as a base, so ideally it shouldn't be this difficult to blend this shade, but unfortunately it's patchy and there's not much I can do about it. Now I'm gonna go back in into the same shade and add a little bit more and create more depth. I don't know if you can tell, but I am definitely struggling to make this shade look even, and I feel like I have to spend a lot more time trying to blend this in than I normally would with my other matte eyeshadows. Okay, now I'm gonna go into this shade right here, and I'm going to pop that right in the middle. Terrible, just terrible. What is this? Oh my god, it's not even spreading, it's just sits on top. Seriously, this palette gives me no joy to use. Okay, so I'm gonna try my best to get this shimmer to work, but it is really difficult. And I don't want to use a damp brush or anything like that, because these shades should be able to perform on their own. Because it's not like a special shade or anything like that. This is just a straight up metallic. Like, there shouldn't be any issues to apply a standard metallic on the lid. So I think I've got it across my lid now. And I'm just going to give that a quick blend. And it's also going hard pan on me already, and this is a brand new palette. Now I'm gonna go into this shade right here. I'm just gonna take a little bit on my ring finger, just as a bit of a spotlight shade, and add that right in the middle. Hey guys, this is the final look. I did add that dark chocolate shade in my bottom lash line as well. Hey guys, so I thought I'd show you some of the couple other palettes that I have that may be comparable in terms of color story. So for example, so this is Fenty and this is the Huda Beauty. You can see that they are very similar. The only difference really are the pink mauve tone shades that the Fenty has that the Huda Beauty Brown Obsessions doesn't have. Other than that, this is a very, very similar color story, especially with sort of these shades right here. So the Huda has all of them. Now I have separately done a video on the Huda palette. I think this is a decent palette. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's decent, and it's much better, much better than the Fenty palette. So if you really want a color story like this, I think your option is to stick with the Brown Obsessions. I think Brown Obsessions, especially the mattes, are fabulous. I love Huda Beauty mattes. She does mattes really, really well. So I've thoroughly enjoyed the mattes from this palette. The shimmers are a little bit of a hit and miss in my opinion, but go ahead and watch the review for this so you can kind of take a look at my full thoughts around this palette. But still, you guys, this is so much better than the Fenty. And then of course, there's the Patrick Ta palette, which also came out earlier this year. So this is what the Fenty palette and the Patrick Ta looks like side by side. You can kind of tell they're a little bit similar. There's of course some differences. However, Patrick Ta stand out 10 times better than the Fenty. 10 times better. I don't want to hold you up anymore. I just wanted to do this video as quickly and get it out as quickly as possible because I really wanted to tell you how terrible it is. Literally, probably it's going to be the worst palette of 2021. For sure. I have no doubt. And I really wish I could get my money back. I'm going to try and email Sephora and see if I can return this. Sephora here in New Zealand, they only really return products if you're allergic to them. But this is so bad. So I'm going to try and see if I can return it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in my next video. See ya.